Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps to desire, host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can. And oh yeah, your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. You can't be taking no nights off here in the Yard of Streams without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's going on?
Do you have a phone vibrating?
It just did.
Okay, because I could hear it. That's why I was like, I couldn't tell. No, I just couldn't tell if it was like you or if I was just legitimately hearing things.
That was right
which
next
was
to the
possible.
mic. It was legitimately right next to the mic. So,
okay.
What's popping? How we doing on this Wednesday? We usually are going live tomorrow on Thursdays.
I know, but it's Bad Blood Week, baby.
Yes,
very excited.
We got Bad Blood on Saturday at 6 p.m.
Yes,
Sarah.
6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Sara time.
Yes.
So prepare. And we've been building up for this for a while. It's the talk of wrestling Twitter. Not only that, but other major news broke today involving another wrestling company, which we are going to talk about. And shit's just getting great. All right. Cody Rhodes is on the Pat McAfee show promoting Bad Blood. You have AEW making waves. TNA is doing their thing. It's awesome. It's just so great to hear. Really. That's all I got. That's all I got going on here. Let's hear from the peeps themselves. Vinny, Ayo, David, Final Boss. Sup, Final Boss. How you doing? Sup, y'all. Dickie was popping. And he also would like to say that he feels like Bad Blood lacks the hype because 3 matches on the card don't have the best build.
Yeah, no, I agree because I think Finn versus Damian kind of took a back seat. So, like, unless you're a fan of either one of them, like, you're not super invested in it, because they didn't do a lot with it. And I would argue that Nia and Bailey is kind of because like it just became official technically, so it hasn't been this long drawn out feud. That's why I was saying I felt like Gunther versus Sammy deserved a spot on this card more so than some of these other ones because that is a long-term story and feud. So yeah, I think that other than that, I think the matches are going to be good. And so that's why I think I'm a little bit more excited about these ones that aren't as hyped,
That's where my head is at as well. Not only that, the bad blood that has to do with those matches, it's not really the match itself where the bad blood is. It's the ongoing hatred and feuds with something, bigger than them. So it's tough and it's going to lead to more things. I can't.
What could come of the results of the show is what I'm also excited about. So that might be a way that you can kind of try to like get yourself more interested in the show in those matches,
Julia Roxanne brought the ratings for
He
NXT
did.
show peaked with them. That was a good start. I did agree.
It peaked.
I did like it.
It peaked over 900,000 between 8:15 and 8:30. So
I was right in the middle of their match.
Yeah. So Julia's a draw. Roxanne is a draw.
I texted you last night.
I know I didn't answer, but yeah.
I'm obsessed with Julia. I'm obsessed.
She's so cool.
That's aura. Like if that is aura.
We need to start using that word more sparingly though.
Way more sparingly.
Because it's like not everybody has that. First of all, it's now becoming like a slang term almost, like these random words that people just make into like current slang. But like, no, there's only certain wrestlers I feel like that have that exude that, and people are just using it way too freely, but
Mhm. Yeah.
that's just me being a grandma, I guess, and having issues with the younger generation.
Yeah, every day I get more of an issue with them. Undisputed Truth, what's poppin'? Scott D'Amore got a new promotion coming out, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling on Triller, October 17th and 18th. I have heard of this. I actually listened to the Scott D'Amore interview with Chris Van Fleet
Oh,
where he mentioned this. And I've been a big Scott D'Amore fan since the Team Canada days in TNA Impact with him, Petey Williams, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, the other guy. They were awesome. So I've loved Scott D'Amore, and I think what he did already with TNA, reviving that, he's gonna make this into something. It doesn't need to be a WWE, it doesn't even need to be an AEW, but it's if it actually goes through, or if he goes through with the vision that it is the open world, like anyone from any promotion can come in, including WWE. I'm pretty sure there's like been rumored WWE names that could go wrestle there. I wouldn't be surprised if like Natty made an appearance there, but there are other big names that have actually been announced for them. Josh Alexander over in TNA. Um, that's the biggest one I can think. Oh, Takeshita in AEW was announced too. So they got big names already. And I'm interested to see how the first show goes, and to see if it's worth something, because I think it's got legs. I think it's got legs.
sorry, someone pointed out that I have a spelling error.
Oh, that's tough. That is really tough.
I know, so dang it.
You know
Can't
what?
fix it.
So I don't like when that happens. People point out my mistakes.
Well,
Sorry.
it's in the title for the stream, so it's kind of an issue.
Oh, you mean someone here? Oh,
Yes.
wait, I didn't even
I
see
did
it. I
bad
didn't see it.
bold instead of bad blood, apparently.
Oh, hey.
So I'm trying to fix it.
All right. Well, in the meantime, let's just toss it to our favorite segment of the week.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sara. Be a rosebud. It is time for our rosebuds and lemons of the week. Rosebuds being our favorite things, and lemons being our least favorite things that we saw in wrestling this week. So, Sara, I've been royal rambling here for a little bit. Why don't you tell me what your favorite thing in wrestling was on this short week?
Mm-hmm. Drew McIntyre being a champion for women's wrestling. I love
Okay,
that.
that's a good.
Yeah, so he did an interview, and I'm not sure if they brought it up or if he did, but he discussed the inevitable future of WWE introducing mid-card women's titles on the main roster, and he believes that it's completely justified, that the roster is deep enough, and that they've been killing it for years now, so it just feels like the right thing to do. And I know that we've kind of talked about this a lot, and then there's the made or the fan made titles that are like making rounds on social media to kind of show you what the women's US title and the women's intercontinental titles could look like. So it's definitely gaining traction a lot more than I think that it has in the past, because this isn't something that is just coming up. This has been years that people have talked about mid-card titles, but I think it's cool to hear it from one of the top male stars of the company supporting it like this, because it's different. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean as much, but Bailey has been a champion for women's wrestling and like doing the mid-card title thing, but I feel like it just makes it for some people to take it a little bit more seriously, unfortunately, when a guy like Drew McIntyre says it, because, oh yeah, well, the women, of course they're gonna say it because it's more titles. It's like, no. Like it
No,
goes
it's not. Yeah.
beyond selfish reasons or whatever. So I don't know, I just thought that was cool, and I think he's one of the few men that have spoken about it recently. So it was just, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool that he had such in-depth answers when discussing it. So it seems like it's something that actually that he's actually thought about, or like actually cares about and wants to see, which is a nice change.
It is a nice change because it should happen at this point. It's we ask the question all the time, why hasn't it happened? NXT is a great example of how to do it and do it well. Give them the proper amount of time. When it comes to the main roster, that's the only issue I have with introducing a mid-card title, because it could get lost in the shuffle. We already have talked about here ad nauseum on occasion how the women's tag team championship is being underutilized and how it just seems like a paperweight pass between tag teams. It's getting better now with Jade and Bianca, but it took some time. When you introduce a new title too, who do you put it on? I said Meechin, but then who are you gonna have her go after? It's all about logistics in that way. But what they're doing with it in NXT with Kalani Jordan and having her be a fighting champion, and now her biggest obstacles right now is Fatal Attraction. It's being done very well.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of feel like they were testing it out in NXT to see how they could go about it, and the interest level from the fans to see if it was something that they might want to integrate to the main roster, and it's doing well. I have a little bit more optimism about how they would treat a mid-card title than the tag titles, because they don't do anything with the men's tag titles either. So it doesn't feel like it's necessarily just because it's the women's tag titles, although I'm sure that is a factor because they've never been prioritized since they were introduced. But I feel like just based on how they treat the women's single titles, I have more confidence that they would actually book the mid card a lot better. And then of course that does get more women on TV. That opens up a lot more opportunities for the women that are eventually going to be called up from NXT. And it makes sense. So to hear Drew saying that as well, I think is pretty cool. So it would be nice if he's kind of echoing a lot of what people are saying in the back as well, even if they're not coming out and saying it themselves.
Agreed. Well, my Rosebud of the week isn't really anything specific with the product. It's actually media related. I cannot get enough of the Chris Van Fleet interviews. I listened to two ones between Trick Williams and Ethan Page. They were incredible, and they are the best way to learn little tidbits about the industry that you're not going to get by watching religiously. You have to step outside that box, that kayfabe box, universe that we live in, and learn more about the person playing the character, because then it makes what they're doing on TV that much better and that much more entertaining to you. And especially the conversations that I listened to, they came from two very different backgrounds. You have Trick Williams, who only is in WWE because he got cut by the Eagles. And then you have Ethan Page, who from birth, it felt from how he talked about it, was destined to be a pro wrestler, and their stories. And you just gain that sort of fandom that you're not going to get, and knowledge by just watching. And I'm very happy that we have Chris Van Fleet in our life to give us that.
Yeah, I think it's like something I've talked about before with him is that you can tell that the people he interviews feel comfortable with him. So I feel like they kind of open up a bit more than they might with somebody else interviewing them. So I think that is something that separates his interviews, than other people who are doing, wrestling interviews in general. It makes it not feel like you're sitting there and watching a 45-minute video, because when you see that at first, you might be like, I don't know. But like, it's so interesting. And he knows the right questions to ask because he's not just an interviewer, he's also a fan. So he knows,
Helps.
both worlds and the types of questions that everybody is going to want to hear. So that makes it a lot more fun to listen to. And I'm sure it makes it more interesting for the person to participate in the interview and like be willing to share information,
Yeah. And even though Trick's interview was a little bit more professional than his interview with Ethan Page, like you still felt that Trick could be himself. Like he was not holding back.
It's because that was like Trick's first time, I think, being there.
It was
And
the
Ethan
first.
and Chris have known each other for a really long time. So it was like the dynamic was just a little bit different. But I get what you mean. Like, I think he'll get better about it. I'm sure long form interviews are still pretty new for Trick.
Where that was the first of many with Trick Williams. That's why I enjoyed it. It felt like it was like the first of an eventual many times we'll see him on the show, because we only got to hear so much. I felt like we just got an introduction to who he is.
Yeah,
I want to know more about the journey and whatnot. And Ethan Page, I love Ethan Page. I wasn't really watching AEW at the time, but I was obsessed with his whole storyline with the Hardys and how he was, their boss and all this. Then he teams with them. And then I even listened to the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy pod, where he was a guest. Like he's slowly becoming one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. So I did enjoy that. Sarah, what's a lemon? Tell me a lemon.
Maybe it's a little bit controversial, but I can't not talk about it because it was just a little bit disappointing. So a lot of random clips and tidbits have come out about the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix, and not so much this week. It was more so last week when it was first released. But one of the things that caught my attention out of the many was the clip of Stone Cold Steve Austin talking about how he doesn't believe in CTE and stuff like that. And I was just, I know that they say, like don't put too much stock into people like celebrities or your favorite athletes or wrestlers or whatever, so that when they disappoint you, it doesn't bother you as much. But it was disappointing to hear that because it's an argument that I've gotten into with people on Twitter recently. I mean, over the past couple months, just when talking about head injuries and stuff like that. And I feel like there's no reason to have that belief anymore when there's so much science and medical history and doctors that have proven to you that this is legitimately real. Like CTE is a real thing and it really does affect people. So that just disappointed me because I just think that you're putting out false information for really no reason other than I don't know if he wants to say it's not real because he hasn't dealt with any symptoms from concussions or he doesn't know anybody who has, or maybe he's in denial. I don't know why he would say that it's not real, but it's just kind of sad that there are still people in wrestling knowing the seriousness of these injuries, especially injuries to your head, and they're still regurgitating that it's not real. Like that, I just think was like, come on, bro.
It's tough. It's tough to make those statements when there's a lot of scientific evidence that proves otherwise, and especially when an entire professional sports organization, it's their biggest issue that they face. So yeah, you have your comments. I keep it to myself. That's something.
Why?
When it comes to, no, I'm saying with that, like I'm not like he thinks that's great. I think completely different. Like
I thought you meant you didn't want to participate because it was too controversial or something. That's what I thought.
No. I'm saying that you can have your take on that and believe it. All right. Like, I'm not going to change that because you
Yeah.
lived it. However, on the other side of the coin, as someone who has been educated on this, has seen it in various aspects in life, as someone who lived with someone with early on, I almost said early onset, that's not what it's called, but signs of CTE forming and all that. And let's just say the man was fucking tapped. All right.
Well, and I don't know
Yeah,
if
you want to hear some war stories about living there? Holy shit! Like
I
I
wonder
lived
if
there.
part of the reason why somebody like him, like Stone Cold, doesn't believe in it is because it's something that cannot be diagnosed until you've passed away. But they haven't, because CTE is so relatively new and diagnosed, they don't have a way to diagnose it without being able to literally cut open your brain. So I don't think that that's necessarily a reason to say it's not real. I think it also is dependent on the context of like how bad his take is, because I know that they talked about the 2007 stuff. So I would be even more disappointed if that is when this was said. Because we know what Vince had to say,
I
but we
gotta
know
watch.
why he's saying it. Stone Cold doesn't have to believe that. You know what I mean? So that was just one of the things that kind of was like, oh man, really? From that whole thing.
My lemon is actually AEW related. It was announced on Twitter that allegedly Taz was attacked in the AEW parking lot. It will not be on commentary tonight for the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Why? Why was he attacked? All right, who attacked him? And I can't think of anything that would make me interested. Maybe the Hurt syndication with with MVP coming in, but that wouldn't make sense.
But yeah, I'm gonna be like,
That wouldn't
why?
make
They
no.
attacked him
That's
for
what I'm saying. Like,
what?
I don't. That's what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
when MVP came out, he didn't interrupt Taz.
Yeah. Well,
He
and Taz has
interrupted Prince
not
Nana.
wrestled for how many years?
Taz can't wrestle anymore.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
it doesn't
physically
even
can't.
make sense if like he was gonna join the group or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like there's nothing that really seems to add up.
I swear to God, if this is the fucking learning tree, I'm gonna be mad.
That's
Like,
that's what Richard said.
so
He's like, watch it be Jericho.
I swear to God, if I am watching Dynamite and I hear I am the learning, and oh my God, it better
Yeah.
fucking not be. All right.
Well, I mean,
Better
he's like, you know
not
what?
be.
Hook might be caught in the vortex, or maybe he's on the outs, but let's go after Daddy.
I
He can
can't.
get caught in this vortex.
I Taz is too good for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Taz is a legend. All right. You don't come at Taz.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the human suplex machine. Oh, please no.
I agree also. Final Boss says, I wish WWE had taken CTE series back in the 90s and the 80s. We might have had wrestlers still with us. They didn't know about CTE, so
Yeah.
you can give them that pass. However,
I wish they all did.
I still can't understand how head injuries were never taken seriously when you're literally taught since you were a baby that you had to wear a helmet, like when riding your bike because of head injuries. So the
That's a
fact that you
sign.
would allow certain moves to be done that used your head, or like, oh, someone passed out from a chair shot, it's like that didn't click to them that maybe that wasn't a good idea. That is the reason I can't give them a pass, because it's like, even if you didn't know about CTE or the long-term effects of concussions, concussions aren't good, head injuries aren't good. So the ignorance that you can claim only takes you so far, in my opinion. So
Imagine dealing with CTE and a steroid trial.
I
Oh,
can't.
that would have been awful. Well, Dickie's got some rosebuds and lemons. New NXT titles, icy redesign. Yeah, the blue's nice. The blue nice. And then the last Monster Standing match, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone better, I think. And I loved the ending because, like I said, I really liked the potential of Rollins versus Bronson. So
didn't it give that old school WWE feel, chaotic end to the show?
And just like a random, like I didn't even know who it was at first when Seth ran in. I'm like, who is that? You know, because like my mind was not there. Like you kind of, no disrespect, obviously, because he's one of my all-time favorites, but like you were not thinking about Seth.
No, because he was taken out by Bronson Reed.
Yeah, but like I didn't connect those until I saw that it was him, and then I was like, oh,
yeah,
so that was good.
And then his lemon is the women's division struggling, Pure Fusion Collective, and Bad Blood's build not being that great. See, I don't think it's been bad at all.
I think it's just the like the Finn and Damian stuff hasn't been great because they've been so focused on the Terror Twins versus the All of Judgment Day, but mostly Dom and Liv, so they kind of like put Finn on the back seat. Yeah. And I think that one is probably the worst build of all of them, you know. So but like I said, I think the matches are going to be good enough to kind of make you forget. But also I mean, we already know that Damian's winning, so it's like whatever.
I don't know.
The hate I was seeing for Finn Balor on Twitter, I was like, holy moly, what is going on here? That's crazy to me. You don't have to be a fan of him, but really? We're going to insult the man who created the Bullet Club? Okay.
It couldn't be us.
No,
Sarah,
never,
couldn't be
ever,
us.
ever.
Would not be us. Well, it's time to hop in a little spaceship and travel around the Wrestleverse. Talk about what's popping in all those universes. Stop over in the WWE universe, though, Sarah, because we've been alluding to it. Bad Blood is on Saturday, 6 p.m. me time, 3 p.m. your time. And everyone's saying that it not everybody. People in the chat have been saying that the show has not been built properly. Would have liked more build. I completely disagree. I think it's been properly built.
I think it's just by a match. It's like one or two matches could have been better. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for Punk McIntyre that really everything else is just gravy. Like they've done, that has been the number one focus of this whole pay-per-view is that Punk McIntyre Hell in a Cell. Now here's the thing. Okay, there's one way they can screw this up. Is if that match does not go on last.
It's not.
That would be the dumbest.
Not after what we learned today.
No, I still don't know. You could still no. Cody doesn't. They don't need to put him in the main event.
It's not it. It's the spoiler. That's why they're not. And that's what we said was going to happen. If that is what was going to happen, then they're for sure the main event.
Wow.
I know. I think it's dumb. Well, we can talk about it. Obviously,
we're going to talk about it. Yeah, let's just predict it now. We're already talking about it. You want to just hop right into that match?
No.
Oh, you want to? You know what? Sorry, I love the energy. We don't want them to hop right into it. So let's save it ourselves. I'm with you, girl. Let's start with this one. All right, let's start with a title match at least. It is Champion Queen Nia taking on Bayley for the WWE Women's title. I got Nia.
Yeah, Nia's retaining.
I don't know why I was having hawing. No, Nia's gonna win.
Nia's retaining, and they're gonna further tease Tiffany cashing in. I don't think we're gonna get a cash in yet. I don't think they've done enough to tease Tiffany, turning on Nia yet. I think we need to see that drawn out a bit more, especially because if they're gonna keep Nia as a heel, they're gonna want Tiffany to be like full babyface. So they need to go with this a little bit more because it is interesting.
You don't think that last week when Nia grabbed her by the throat?
That's one instance. I don't think it's enough yet.
Okay.
I want to see more. I want to see more.
I'm
I want to see more tension between them before we finally get that, like, oh my gosh, Tiffany did it. You know what I mean? I feel like they could wait. It could happen in Saudi, like even just one more, you know?
Do you think Tiffany helps Nia in this match?
I mean, okay, so I guess if they're going to put, if they go with what I think and put off the Tiffany Nia thing, then I don't think that's a bad idea. Because then that would make it seem like everything was okay with them again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see Tiffany do something and then Nia gets pissed and then maybe she full out goes after Tiffany at that point. And then we see the rise of Tiffany as like, oh my gosh, you know, she's going after. That seems like a tale as old as time in WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. But they might want just a clean finish between them so that Nia and Bayley can kind of like move on.
I need something with Tiffany in this match.
I
need something with Tiffany to help Nia win. Bayley doesn't need to go clean. You know, she doesn't need to lose clean. And I'm very, after last SmackDown, when Nia did essentially threaten her life, that sparked a plug in my head that we're rolling with something.
Yeah, it's happening.
Something's rolling. So the headlights went off, whatever you want to call this. Antennas went up.
Remember, I told you that the replica briefcase isn't sending out until December. And to me, it might be something worth considering about how long they'll draw out her being the Money in the Bank winner. Only because it seems so dumb to me to have her cash in before people can show up with the replica, you know? Like, I mean, they could. I'm not saying that that's going to determine.
No, they could, but
it just seems kind of silly that you're going to then have it sent out after she's already cashed in, you know? Like,
by that logic, you may not agree with it or not, but with that logic, when would be the best time for her to cash in?
Royal Rumble.
Okay, so after this ship. Okay.
Because then that means whoever wins the Royal Rumble challenges the Raw champion. That's why people think it's going to be Rhea.
I think Rhea's too obvious.
I know, but
way too obvious right now.
I mean, if that's the way it goes, I guess it could be also like if Tiffany wins, it could also be Charlotte and she challenges Tiffany.
Oh. Another Charlotte main event.
Well, just because that's what people want to see. They want to see Charlotte versus Tiffany. So at least if she won the Royal Rumble, I would hate it, but I also wouldn't hate it because she was going to if she picked Tiffany. You know, like, I don't know that I could be mad about that because, like, yeah, as long as Tiffany retained, obviously. But what a first Mania match for her. Like,
she did that with Rhea. She chose the NXT title and challenged Rhea.
Who?
Charlotte when she won.
Oh, yeah, but so I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot, but I feel like that would be kind of cool in general for that to be the story. See, this is what I'm talking about. Charlotte wins the Rumble, challenge Tiffany. Yeah.
I don't want Charlotte to win the Rumble.
I don't want her to win the Rumble either because it's like she doesn't need any more title chances. But I can't be mad about her getting a Mania title match and losing. Like, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah, I can't. As long as it sets up the match, who cares?
Yeah, as long as she loses to Tiffany, then I'm good with it.
All right, we're already talking about women, so let's continue talking about women. Another women's match for you. Liv Morgan, champion, taking on Rhea Ripley for the women's world title.
With Dom in a shark cage.
With Dom in a motherfucking shark cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, I'm so in on that stipulation. Oh, the camera shot's going to be incredible. Easy answer for me is Liv. I got Liv.
Yeah, Liv retains with the help of Raquel Rodriguez. But
I kind of have to say that.
Raquel Rodriguez needs to help Liv win by not touching Rhea. That is so important to me. Because so many people question the validity of Liv as the champion. Raquel getting involved and actively helping Liv win will just further that narrative about Liv, and I'm just tired of hearing it. You know, like, let Liv look like a legitimate champion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, it would still be a heel move to get outside help, but Raquel can just be a distraction long enough for Liv to get the win, you know, and then still it doesn't upset the Rhea stands that are like, oh my god, I can't believe she lost again. It's like, well, you can still say she kind of cheated, you know, so it's like but it's still, she didn't touch Rhea, so Liv still looks good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No, I do.
That's how I want it to go down.
I want to see how Dom's gonna get out of the shark cage. That's where my mind goes.
I don't want him to get out.
It's right. He's gonna get out. Like,
If he gets out, he can't do anything though. Maybe he comes out.
What if he
gets
distracts
out
him?
and Raquel? That's a sign to Raquel. I don't know. I just don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Dom has to get out. Dom is getting out of the cage. What is it going to symbolize?
You know what? Dom getting out of the cage. I bet Rhea does something to him, and then maybe that's when Raquel comes out. Because then it's like, oh, Rhea can do whatever. Well, I'm going to bring in my backup, and then that's when, you know, Raquel comes out and doesn't necessarily do anything to Rhea, but is also probably like a WTF, why are you here type of thing to distract Rhea long enough, because she just went from beating up Dom. Now it's like, what are you doing here? And then Liv is able to get like a roll up or something, or she hits the Oblivion, and then that's how she wins.
That's gotta be Raquel. That's gotta be Raquel.
Raquel Rodriguez. She has been gone. Yeah. That is the girlfriend of Braun Strowman. She is a monster. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if he escapes, but
what do you? But here's the thing. Anytime there's a stipulation like that in wrestling, it's like, oh yeah, how's he gonna get out? They don't end the match in the shark cage. He's gonna just want to get out the entire time. He's going to get out.
I think
it's Judgment Day playbook.
Like I said, the only way that I would be okay with him getting out is that if what I said happens, because I just don't want him to actively help Liv win. I don't want that to be a talking point anymore in this feud. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, she needed help again. I don't want to listen to it. That's mostly why.
All right, so we both got Liv.
Yeah. Liv has to retain and draw it out till Mania.
All right, so we got both champs retaining on the women's side.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to click. Oh, okay, wrong one. Wasn't James Ellsworth in a cage against the feud with Carmella? I don't remember, honestly. I feel like I blocked that era out.
There's a lot of WWE I blocked out because of how bad it was.
Yeah, that era, the fact that James Ellsworth was employed longer than some people is beyond.
James Ellsworth is the first ever women's Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah,
people forget that. Okay?
Yeah, because they don't want to remember. That's why.
Different time, Sarah. Different fucking time. Let's go to this one. All right. Let's keep with the Judgment Day theme. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Just a grudge match.
Damian Priest is winning.
I'm going Finn.
Damian's winning. And
Judgment Day pay-per-view.
Which I still think is kind of funny when you think about it. Like, they set this whole thing up, you know, on Raw about Finn making the call to Dom and being like, hey, let Liv know, like, I've got it figured out, blah, blah, blah. And it's just going to be funny if he loses, that he put so much effort into making sure that Liv retained rather than him beating Damian. Like, he doesn't care. But it might just be, again, like we talked about during the Raw Rewind, just wanting to make sure that the Judgment Day has as much gold as possible, and keeping the title on Liv keeps that going. But I don't know that I see Damian and Rhea losing in the same night.
I could see Finn winning this. I don't know.
I would love that. I just don't see it happening.
I don't have much to say about this, really. I wish I
Yeah.
did. Like, you could say, because you know what it is? It's not that the build has been bad. The build has been vague. It seems like it's been Judgment Day versus Damian, not Finn
Yeah.
Balor
Well, and I think
versus Damian,
it's a
and that's what
missed
it started as.
opportunity. I think it's a big missed opportunity because they have a good story.
A great story, great
Like
backstory.
the whole thing with like what happened at SummerSlam and stuff, like they could have done such good stuff with this feud, but they just don't care. They just like, it's not surprising to me. It's Finn Balor. This is what they've done with him since he was he was called up to the main roster. So
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate because I feel like this could have been really good. And I guess if they want to try and continue it after Bad Blood, they could. I just would hope that they put more effort into it because I think that this could be a big story if they wanted it to be. But
See, to me, this would be an incredible title match. Like, if these two were fighting for a championship, I'd be way more invested into it. With the whole stuff with the Terror Twins and Judgment Day, I will lump them into that Liv Rhea match
yeah.
because it's all essentially connected.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see interactions backstage and whatnot. So I'm excited for those two matches, but like as a whole, not individually
Yeah.
excited for them like I am, we'll say, the main event.
Yeah. No, I
Take
get
that
it.
away with.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see one. Yeah, I have it over here. You're damn right, Jay. No one forgets this. All right, no one
I
forgets this
don't. Yeah.
because if we forget, then we're bound to repeat. Remember that.
Final Boss says Fid needs a big win. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. To me, the stand tall. I want to test this theory out to see if it is something that is a move. Like, I don't know.
Wait, what?
I want to see Finn win.
Okay, because I'm like, you did not say anything that I comprehended just a second ago. I'm like,
No,
what?
that was just verbal garbage. I
Yeah,
just had
I
a
was
brain
like,
fart.
that was like you responding to the voice in your head. You know?
Yeah, probably. So
Yeah. But anyway, I would love to see Finn win. I just don't know that it happens. I mean, I feel like if it's gonna happen, it should happen at one of the pay-per-views that is not considered a big one. You know what I mean? And Bad Blood is not. So, I mean, they treat the Saudi shows as like bigger ones, and then Survivor Series is right around the corner as well. So you would think that if Damian was going to win, they would want him to win at one of those. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. So, Damian, it is.
Cody Rhodes in the OTC. Roman Reigns taking on Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa of the Outlaw Bloodline in a tag team match. If Drew and Punk were not on this card, yes, this is hands down a main event match. But
This is going to be the main event.
I know it is. But this match has so many layers to it. I'm very curious where they're gonna go. I saw something today. Someone tweeted, what if Roman hits Cody with a spear accidentally, and that ends the match? What if this person comes back? There's so many variables that could happen.
I'm 100% behind Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa win this match. I think that's what needs to happen. I also think it would be better if Roman was pinned, but I guess for storyline purposes, they'll probably pin Cody. Just because I think that we're going to see Cody versus Roman at part 3. I think that's what's going to come out of this. On top of, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but we already talked about it before in the however many weeks in a row. The Rock is going to be there. I'm like 99% positive The Rock is going to show up at Bad Blood. So that's going to set some things up. And I think that the reason he's going to show up is because the Bloodline 2.0 win. To me, that makes the most sense. He's going to reveal himself as the puppet master.
At the end of the match or during the match?
At the end. I think you have to. I think that's why it's going to be the main event. I think it's going to be at the end. I think that if they had him come out any earlier, he's too much of a distraction.
Yes.
So
I
it has
definitely
to
agree
be
with
at
that.
the end, because then that's the end shot. You know, like that's what they want to have the lasting memory for people. I think if he came out any earlier, him being ringside or anything like that, it's like too much. It would distract people from the match far too much. So I think it just has to be at the end. And then that's his way of being like, oh yeah, see, I knew Solo was the tribal chief. He just beat you and the guy that beat you, blah, 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 you know, that kind of stuff. Or he maybe doesn't say anything. I don't know. But
So you're saying we both agree that Outlaw Bloodline win, but I
yes.
think we disagree on the pinfall.
The reason okay, so I think it would be better if it was Roman, because that would definitely hammer home, you know, The Rock showing up and being like, you weren't the tribal chief, it's Solo, blah, blah, blah. The only reason why I'm saying it could be Cody is if it really is going to be Cody versus Roman part 3 at this next Saudi show at Crown Jewel, because that would be the easiest way for Roman to be angry at Cody and not trusting him and being like, I couldn't even trust you to, you know, help me win. Like, you lost this match for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is the only reason I could see it being Cody, because it would set up their match. And that's an immediate payoff, whereas the Rock stuff is not going to happen till at least Mania. So
I'm going with Jacob Fatu pinning Roman.
okay.
That I'm playing the long game with this prediction, that they're eventually going to square up, whether it is at the Royal Rumble.
Who? Roman and Jacob?
Yeah. Like Royal Rumble, maybe even the Elimination Chamber or No Way Out, whatever we want to call it, before Mania. You know, do that match for the first of their many, hopefully many matches. You can't pin the champ. I'm sorry, you can't. Cody Rhodes cannot.
I agree, but I'm just
You can't.
saying
I'm
that
not.
would
Yeah.
that would be his way to justify finally getting a rematch with Cody. That's the only reason. Although, I mean, obviously this is wrestling. They can come up with any reason,
Any reason
for Roman to face Cody again. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's more significant for Roman to lose his first match back after losing the title at Mania, especially if The Rock is going to be involved. I think it's more significant for, you know, I think it would be Solo. If Roman gets pinned, I think it should. It's so tough, right? Because I think it should be Solo, because that would that would prove him as like the tribal chief. But then Jacob doing it also creates that inner turmoil between Jacob and Solo, that we've kind of already seen bits and pieces of. So there's so many possibilities, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Bloodline 2.0 wins. How they go about winning is just, I'm not sure yet.
I concur. I am on that same boat. Let's hear from the peeps. Dickie's saying Solo pins Roman.
That's my gut. That's my gut feeling.
Something tells me Jacob getting that pin would.
I think. Yeah, but then I feel like that just hurts Solo too much.
Roman wouldn't mind putting his family over.
1,000%. That's why I said I think that if Roman takes the pin, he would take it because it's his family, as he's been okay with before. So
can't pin the champ. I'm old school, but you can't pin the champ.
Yeah, no, I think there's a way that they could figure out a way to get Cody and Roman to make sense, obviously. But yeah.
And then the main event.
What should be the main event, which is not going to be the main event, but it's the main event in our hearts.
In our hearts. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Part 3. The final saga inside a Hell in a Cell. Sara, I kind of have an idea who you want to win this one.
I know who I want to win, but I don't think he's going to.
Do you think my... Are you saying my guy? My guy right there? See,
I want Drew to win.
Yeah, he's winning.
I 100% want Drew to win, but Punk's going to win, unfortunately. I hate it because I think Drew deserves better. I don't think that Punk needs this win, but I think that probably from a storyline perspective, it might make more sense for what can happen afterwards for Punk to win. And I don't like it. Like, I'm gonna be pissed off when Drew loses. Like, I'm gonna be very angry
when he hits
because
that third GTS.
dude, yeah, in the stomach because he can't pick up Drew. Sure,
Drew's a
yeah.
big guy. Drew is a big guy.
Then don't do that move to him. Figure out a different thing to do. Okay. People didn't go against the Big Show and still try to pick him up and over their shoulders. Okay.
John Cena did.
Well, that's because John Cena could, but I'm saying other people didn't try to do that.
Superhero.
But yeah, so I think this is going to be a really, really, really good match. So I'm not worried about that at all. It's more so about the ending that I'm not pleased about. Which I know I'm going to be in the minority. So I just think that because it's going to be such a brutal match, it only makes sense that the person to come out the victor is Drew McIntyre. But yeah, I think if they're going to try to have Punk go after Gunther, or I mean, I guess that he has to win this match. I think the biggest issue that I have is what happens to McIntyre after this. That's the thing that I'm like, if he doesn't win, then where does he go from here? And you could kind of say that with Punk too, but it's like Punk is Punk, you know, like he doesn't need an excuse to do anything or to face anybody. So, and I'm not saying that Drew necessarily does, but like he's not at CM Punk level. You know what I mean? Like there's still a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just would be like, okay, because I can't think of anything that Drew could do afterwards from losing. So that is that's like something that I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks, you know. But
I'm gonna go with Drew to be different.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibility that he loses. And yeah, I'm going with that one.
I didn't say he couldn't do it. I'm saying he can't really do it because if you watched it in the strap match, he started hitting him like in the chest and in the stomach because he couldn't lift him anor. That's a fact. Go back and watch it. He can pick him up once and then he can't do it again. So this is an interesting argument. When Drew loses, I think he should go to SmackDown. I like him on Raw, but I can see what you mean.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea in theory, but not plausible at this time. So
yeah.
All right. So Cody Rhodes went on the Pat McAfee show today. Great interview. I mean, Cody just always kills it. He's so professional when he comes on the screen in the suit. That is the man you want to be the face of your company. He did a great job.
Such a nice person.
Oh,
that's the thing. It's like that's not fake. Basically, who he is now is who he's always been. And I know I don't know him personally, but I met him in 2010 and I met him in 2024. He's exactly the same person as he was when he had literally no fans to people paying like $300 to meet him. You know what I mean? Like there's no difference there. And to me, that tells you a lot about someone's character because like he has every right to have a big head and like I'm the face of the company, like I'm gonna be the champion, like this and that. Like you have every right to think that your shit don't stink, but he doesn't act like that. So I think that comes across in his interviews, and that's why it's another one that's like, yeah, he's a good guy to be the face of the company, but he also is good in interviews because it's like he's just an easy person to talk to.
Very easy. He's a great conversationalist, and he hyped the pay-per-view and more up. I know we disagree on what he said and, you know, if it spoiled anything that big. To me, I don't take it that way. I take it as it's the big sell to try to get you to watch the pay-per-view. And because we're so in the thick of it with wrestling that we are going to watch anyways. So it's like, I don't spoil it. Like we don't want to know that, but to the common man.
Yeah, but the thing is they're not going to know what he's talking about. So
exactly, that's the point.
But how does that necessarily just garner excitement? That's what I'm saying. That's not necessarily the reaction from people because they're going to be like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like there's going to be people that are interested and want to find out what he's talking about, but then there's going to be a bunch of people who are like, oh, I don't know what that means. Like, they're not going to remember that he said that. Like, the casual fan is not going to remember that. So
But
that's why it's like,
they're gonna watch. That's the thing.
I still don't. I'm saying I don't know that they're going to watch it because of that comment.
Okay.
That's not what's going to make them watch. They're going to forget that he said it because they don't know like what he could possibly be alluding to. I don't know. Because he basically, Pat McAfee basically spoiled that The Rock is going to be there. Cody basically spoiled that it's probably going to be him versus Roman at Crown Jewel. But we'll see.
Not bad. We were talking a lot of WWE. Let's switch it up and talk AEW because they had some big news that happened today. They signed a deal with Warner Brothers for a streaming deal. And while I go and get the deets of this, courtesy of Cultaholic, and their Swords Variety, AEW has signed a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, which is estimated to be valued at over $150 million per year. While the actual financial terms of the deal have not been disclosed at the time, it will see Dynamite and Collision remain on TNT and TBS going forward. However, they will also stream simultaneously on the streaming service Max in the U.S. And then there's a quote about Tony Khan, how we're honored about the extension and partnership, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care because the meat and potatoes of this is that 2 wrestling shows will be streaming.
Aren't they trying to address or aren't they trying to introduce another one?
Yes. What is it called?
I don't remember. I saw it this
Star
morning.
something.
It's stupid though.
They got rid of Rampage for it, or they're getting rid of Rampage.
Okay,
for it.
Get rid of Collision too, bro, because you can't just keep bringing more shows out when you already have some that are not good.
Collision feels like a bigger velocity.
But that's the point. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Why
are you adding another one? Like, focus on the ones that are successful right now instead of adding more. It doesn't make any sense.
Because they have too big of a roster, Sarah. They have too big of a roster. And you have that. You have, under the AEW umbrella, you have AEW Dynamite. Rampage, technically, I think is still on. Someone fact check me in the comments. Rampage, Collision. Now you have Ring of Honor. And that's another show. Like, there's so many people on that roster that having those types of shows, it caters to that type of wrestling fan. The problem is that type of wrestling fan is not profitable.
Well, and I get that they might need it. I'm just saying, like, stop introducing new shows until you get the ones that you currently have up to par. No one's going to Collision. Why don't you focus on getting Collision better before introducing another show and having the same issue? It just doesn't make any sense.
They also do double tapings too. I've actually had the thought about this, that I wonder if those pictures are taken at the taping of Collision or Rampage, whatever, which is at like 10 o'clock or 11 at night when like the regular show's over. So people are just staying. Because I've been a victim of that where I wanted to stay for Rampage, but I had to get up early, so I couldn't stay. Source stayed, so it was awesome.
I think it's possible, but I don't think it's every photo. I don't think that's what is happening every time that it looks empty.
I could concur with that. Pat said the big guy was returning, but could have been Ryback.
No, I know. People kept saying it's Ryback, and I'm like, I get the joke, but that's never happening. It's like Matt Riddle being like, I'm close to returning, and I'm like, no, you're not, bro. They've basically like blacklisted you from WWE. Like, why are you? What?
He is crushing it at MLW.
Good for him.
Shout out, while we're talking about MLW, shout out the Rogue Horsemen. All right, Victoria's BRG hanging in there with the Andersons and Bobby Fish. That's hilarious, and they're crushing it. I just bought their shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees, I think it is, or the MLW site. So go support my boy BRG and buy his merch. I also wanted to talk about this, Sarah.
Okay.
Because I wanted to bring it up. I think I may have like just said the comment yesterday, but when this happened, it didn't look right to me. And it was also said in let me get the actual tweet up. Here we go. According to PW Chronicle and WrestleVotes, WWE didn't like the way broken ring spot came off between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. Like, they liked the performance and the match was praised, but they didn't like that spot. And here's why I think if you watch it, the ring imploded very, very weirdly. Or not like it was not a good. It felt like it was it was pulled. Like it didn't feel like it was a natural implosion.
I kind of noticed that it seemed a little odd, but I didn't dislike it because I felt like it was different than what we've seen before. And I think sometimes you're expecting the ring spot, and they've kind of been doing it quite a bit over the last few years. So it's like I felt like it looking a little bit different made it a bit better. You know, like
Okay.
otherwise it's all the same. Like to me, I just don't care at this point now, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's happened so many times. It's like you expect it because of the, like, oh my god, these guys are so big, it's gonna happen. To me, it doesn't have the shock value that it did originally. So
yeah, it didn't. To me, it just didn't feel like an authentic implosion. It felt like it was, triggered in some way.
Well, because we all knew leading up to this match that was probably going to happen. We said throughout this whole feud with them, it's like it's going to happen probably. So it was only a matter of time, and so it just doesn't hit the same. It's like, yeah, okay, finally it happened. Okay.
All right. That. Yeah, we'll go with this. Should Raw be moving back to 2 hours? Like, what are our thoughts about this? Because Raw will move back to 2 hours on Monday after Bad Blood, and be 2 hours until they debut on Netflix.
No,
it's a culture shock because since the 1000th episode, Raw has been 3 hours long, and it's gone from people saying, get rid of the third hour, to fans asking, how did we get to the third hour already? It feels like the show has flown. So now to jump back into the 2 hours with the amount of talent that you have on the roster and the limited allotted time that you have, I'm very curious how they're going to pull this off.
Me too. And I think that's the problem that I have, is that we already, I mean, it's not just us. A lot of people talk about how they are upset that certain wrestlers are not getting TV time, and that, the main thing that we see people say is Monday night is the Judgment Day show. They're involved in everything. They're throughout the entire show. And that does, in a way, take away from any opportunity that could be given to somebody else that's not on TV. So then taking away an entire hour, it's only going to make it worse. And some people are making an interesting argument. Like, I mean, according to the dirt sheets, they're saying that when they move back to move to Netflix, that they're going to go back to 3 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of variation between 2 and 3 hours. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not something that is like 3 hours exactly every single week. It might just depend on the show that week. Maybe this week it's 2.5. Maybe next week it's 3.5. You know what I mean? Like, instead of rushing things or slowing things down to fill time, it's like they're going to have a little bit more freedom because it's going to be streamed. So I think that is a good idea, because there are shows that feel like they're dragging on, or there are shows that feel like we didn't get to see enough, or the main event was sped up because, they have to be done, by 11. That's not going to be the case anymore. But I do think it's definitely going to be an adjustment for it to be down to 2 hours. And they're definitely trying to make up for it with the live crowd, because Cody's been added to Raws for dark matches. LA Knight is now being added to Raw dark matches to kind of like help fill the gap, because obviously people who bought tickets months ago to go to these shows had no idea that an hour was going to be cut. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it, because it could be bad. I hope it's not.
It could feel rushed. Well, the thing is, every other show wrestling show on television right now is 2 hours. NXT,
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown, AEW, TNA, like they're all 2 hours. So,
But
and
SmackDown feels like that to me sometimes. Sometimes you're so interested in like what's going on, if it's a match or it's a storyline, and you're like, oh my god, it's like the show's already over. So
yeah,
I think it just depends. Like, not every single episode of Raw is good. So it's not like every single week you're thankful that there's 3 hours. There's sometimes where you're like, all right, you could have cut all that out and it could have been like 2 hours.
yeah.
But I think it really does limit what they can do. So hopefully it'll be fine. I'm just kind of like, it's been this way for so long that it's like kind of concerning to be like, all right, how are they going to go about this? Because the roster is only bigger than it was when he first introduced the third hour.
And more talented and a
Mm-hmm. Business
better
is
captain
booming.
driver.
Yeah.
Business is booming. You actually have someone in charge that people want to work for and
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable at working for. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how it turns out.
It might be something that we have to wait a couple weeks to see too, until we are like, okay, do we like it or we
Yeah,
don't?
I'm not gonna judge off the jump,
Yeah.
especially how I did with Joe Tessitore.
Mm-hmm.
You should too, because look at that. Look at what we said last week. If you didn't, just go and
Cody's not going to move to Raw. I don't think so.
no,
They want him
because
to be
he's
on SmackDown.
Yeah. That's
I don't think it's a
need.
stupid question. I don't think it's stupid. I think that he would flourish on Raw. Like if it were up to me, Cody would be on Raw. But that's not possible right now. And so, I mean, and right now they have a lot going on Raw as it is.
They have too much. There's
So
so
I
much
think,
going on Raw.
yeah, I think that if he went back heel, move him to Raw. Heel Cody. Yes.
This is a quick hit.
Mm-hmm.
SRS John Ross Sapp said in a live stream that Bobby Lashley is en route to AEW. This isn't really that much of a shock to me after seeing MVP
Yeah.
have an interaction with Prince Nana last week. I mean, Dynamite's recording right now, so I'll just watch from the beginning after I get out of here. But that to me was the sign that, okay, they're going to recreate the Hurt Business in
Mm-hmm.
AEW, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it.
I think it's going to feel second rate just because we've already seen it and we knew how good it could have been. And then you get used to like who was in that group and like what could have been. And that is what you want to see. And that's not what you're going to get. You know what I mean? And at this point to me, like, I don't care. Go and do whatever you guys want, but this feels more of like, oh, we're gonna do it in AEW because they want us and they are interested, and that like it's all just to like get back at WWE for not listening to their ideas, and so I think that's kind of why it's that's the motivation behind it, and that's only gonna fuel you for so long. Like, I still don't have much faith in long-term WWE talent going to AEW and being utilized in the way that they think they're going to. So I think this is going to be popping for a month, maybe a little more, and then no one's going to care because it's not the same fan base either. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be excited that Bobby's there, but not for long.
My question to you is, the Dudley Boys went from ECW, WWE, and TNA, and were below, like they were just the Dudley Boys. Do you see that being the case for the Hurt Business? Them going, people just know they are. Doesn't matter what the name is. They just want to see that group in action.
I think it's possible, more so I would say with Bobby Lashley than MVP, because MVP's old. Like, no one.
He'd be their manager. He could
Yeah,
manage
well,
and then
but
wrestle
I
once in
mean,
a blue
based
moon.
on things that he's been saying, he was acting like, oh, I want to, it's whatever. He has his complaints. The thing is, though, is I think it's hard because, like, I think Bobby was never I feel like was never loved in the same way that the Dudleys were. And so it's like the hype around him doesn't match what they had. Plus they went on and had like long singles careers also. Obviously there's a reason why he's Bully Ray and not Bubba Ray everywhere. So I don't know. I think that if this were, you know, if it was like Seth Rollins, yeah, he's going to kill it in AEW. You know what I mean? Like people are going to embrace him and cheer for him. There's not any concern about him flopping. I'm just not sure about that with the Hurt Business or Hurt Syndicate or whatever they're going to try and do. Because I think they're just going to try to do what they wanted to do in WWE, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're good ideas or that people are going to be interested, you know? So I don't know. You have to kind of see the long term if people care. Because like I said, I expect Ricochet to not be on people's radar for that much longer.
He's fighting tonight.
Yeah. Well, and I think he's going to have some banger matches. Obviously, people are going to be invested in seeing him versus Ospreay and whoever else they can put him in a match with. But I don't think that he's going to be somebody that people are buying tickets to go see, you know, like in the way that he wants to be, or he wants to be on the top of the company. That's not going to happen either. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to go crazy if Bobby shows up, but how long that stays, I don't know.
I don't either. I do not know either. Well, that brings it. Well, no, we got some comments here. Let's get some comments before I go for the cover. Live and actors. So no, we don't really have any comments. All right, so moving on. 1, 2, 3 count. Sarah saw us on Twitter. If you could bring back one old school WWE pay-per-view, what would it be?
Like the actual show or just the name?
No, like the name of the pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. Well, I still love No Way Out instead of
That was such
Elimination
one
Chamber.
of mine.
Yeah.
That's hands down.
I also like Vengeance because I feel like that is another one that kind of like, it's like Bad Blood to me. Like it kind of gives you the formula of how to put that card together, you know? And I feel like Vengeance is the same. Those are the first two that come to mind. It's always No Way Out though. Like we've talked about that before. It's just so much better.
It flows better than Elimination Chamber. And we've also said on here, I don't know how many times, but naming shows after specialty matches is not a good formula to follow.
Yeah, I think the only one that you can kind of get away with is Money in the Bank. I feel like that's the only one that you're kind of like, oh, okay, that one's not bad to be, because it could mean so many things. But yeah, like TLC, Elimination Chamber, or like that kind of stuff is just like, ugh.
Yeah, they don't call the pay-per-view Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah,
they call
exactly.
it Money in the Bank, which just makes more sense all around. I would go No Way Out.
I would love if they could be doing what NXT is doing with bringing, you know, having the old school names brought back. Like the, you know, I saw Vinny say Halloween Havoc. Like that kind of stuff would be cool.
Halloween Havoc, Heat Wave.
Yeah, if it could come back onto the main roster and not just in NXT.
I would love Great American Bash. If SummerSlam, like, no, you keep both. Like, I like the show name of Great American Bash. Unforgiven was a good one. I was a big fan of that. Let me go to the ones they had here. I saw one, they had bragging rights. No fucking chance. Okay.
No.
Oh, this one they like
Bragging Rights was
Taboo Tuesday.
Wasn't Bragging Rights Survivor Series?
No.
Oh,
Sarah,
really?
That's the crazy thing.
Oh, no, but they did have team versus team, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes, okay. You're right. Yes. Yes, you are right about that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was bad. That was always bad.
They only did it twice. I watched the Cultaholic doc of worst shows, worst pay-per-views ever, courtesy of Jack the Jobber. And he explained bragging rights and how bad it was.
Yep.
And usually I go and check it out and watch for myself until I fall asleep. Didn't even do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was like, why am I going to suffer through this? He said everything I need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Starcade would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Starcade, but that'd be real. Well, not anymore. It's already whatever. But yeah, all right. And 20 questions, Sarah.
Okay.
Pick a diva
Mhm.
from the Divas era.
Okay.
No. So, do you
I
have
have one.
one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are they a blonde?
No.
Were they a champion?
Yes.
Did they have a manager?
No.
No. Okay.
At least say they weren't known for having one.
Were they hardcore?
No.
Did they wrestle between 2000 and 2002?
No. No.
Was it later than that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Is it Michelle McCool? No, no. It's I already wasted it. You already said it's not a blonde.
Correct.
Is it Layla?
No.
Ah, okay.
Are you counting these? Okay.
Got it here. Shit. No, I'm not looking at the comments. I'm not cheating.
I don't know if they've said it.
I don't. So they weren't a champion, or they
No,
were
they
a champion.
were. Yes.
Divas era. Did they wrestle? Have they wrestled at WrestleMania?
If they did, it was not a singles match or anything memorable.
Okay.
Because
Is it Candice Michelle?
Yes.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh, let's go!
I'm like, she might have been in like one of the battle royals or something, but
try pillow fight.
yeah, I was gonna say something.
Yeah,
not
it was a pillow
memorable.
fight at WrestleMania 22. Oh, it was memorable. Okay.
All right, yeah, for little boys maybe, but
yeah.
all
You're
right.
right.
Okay, do you have one?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is she blonde?
Yes.
Was she ever champion?
No.
Interesting. Did she ever manage anybody?
Yes.
Is it Stacy Keibler?
No.
Darn it. Okay. Did she start off her career as a wrestler?
No.
Was she in the Diva Search?
No.
Is it Trish Stratus?
It is not Trish Stratus.
Okay, so she started as a manager.
She was a manager.
I know, I'm trying to think. Who else is did she sing?
No.
Dang it. It's not Jillian, my queen. Are you counting? I think that was okay. I'm like, I had the fingers and then my nervous thing, I just got rid of them.
I got 8.
Okay.
I can go to the comment section. No.
Was she a part of the Attitude Era?
Beginning of it, yes.
The beginning of it.
Yep.
So did she leave during the?
Yes.
Is it Sunny?
You want me?
Okay.
I know you want me. I know you want me, baby. That song came on shuffle when I was coming home. And it was one of those days where you need one of those songs to just put you in a good mood.
I'm very proud of myself for that.
I'm very happy you got Sunny. I was nervous there for a second, but you got it on the 10th, and that's what matters.
What a downfall.
What a downfall. And then honestly, for the 3 count, usually this is the time. See, there's something blank here. We don't know what we're gonna do because I've had to step away from the nonsense a little bit, Sarah. It is Sunny. Good shit, final boss. She is doing a lot of time now. Yeah, she is not a role model.
Yeah, she's not very sunny
No
anymore.
rainy days ahead for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no nonsense. We have not really been the captain of all things nonsensical lately. We've actually been the captain of all things sensical. With real life hitting us in the face, and not in a bad way. This is not me going on a tangent or venting or anything. It's just shit gets busy.
Adult
this
stuff.
yeah, this is not our first job. I pray every day to God that this one day will be. However, it is not. So, we have to focus on where the money is, and the money is in my job. So I haven't been able to do the fun stuff of streaming because then when I get home from said place, I'm either we gotta go party and not party, but like you have to family parties or or you're sleeping dead ass, or I'm legit sleeping. So we haven't really done nonsense. I tried that my GM mode in 2K24. I watched Vibe do universe mode where they create themselves and put it in them. Like I would love to do that. That would be so much fun. But yeah, things are looking up. We're gonna be hopefully more, but it's just open to you. If you have any question, I know we got peeps here. Any question you want Sarah and I to answer about wrestling, we will do it right now. Because that's all I got. I really don't have anything else today. We gave our predictions. Go watch the show on Saturday at 6 p.m., 3 p.m. Pacific time. And unless Sarah's got anything else to say, or the peeps have any.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Joe Hendry? I started Joe Hendring people.
Yes, you've told me.
So we're up to. I actually did it to a girl I was talking to. I went on a date with.
Oh, geez.
So that was hilarious. They were very confused. I had one friend say thank you. Spin the belt. Damn right. What's up? Yeah, there we go. I had one friend say thank you, so they were just blessed to see Joe.
My
Hendry's
day
face.
just got so much better.
And then I had another friend, very confused.
I'm sure.
So, yeah, that was their reaction. But yeah, that's make Joe Hendry a thing. Oh jeez. So that's all I got for you guys.
Stand and deliver.
Where have they been?
Busy being a dad,
Oh yeah, married too. That's right.
Yeah.
One of them, excuse me.
We got a
Ooh,
question.
Thank God. We'll end on this note. What do you guys think of War Games matches will end up? The War Games match will end up being
Bloodline versus Bloodline for the men. In my opinion.
I got Team Liv versus Team Rhea.
Yeah. Yes. That'll be interesting to see who joins Liv besides Raquel, assuming. But
because you could make an argument for Bianca and Jade to have a team because of whatnot. But that just you'd rather have them in a tag team title picture with multiple teams. Don't team with anyone else. And with this War Games match, you could have it be another a catalyst to an eventual WrestleMania match.
What if it's when Becky returns and she joins Team Rhea?
Becky joining Team Rhea would be incredible. That would be
Liv
that would be
title.
No, that would be that'd be a whoa moment. That would be a really cool moment.
Yeah. I definitely still think it's gonna be Bloodline versus Bloodline though. So for the men, I think that's the only one that I could say solid. But I think given how we think Bad Blood is going to happen, it would make sense to be Liv versus Team Rhea.
Or what if we like? So then would I'm just because the whole bloodline thing. That's one element to it, but then you have another element of KO and Randy being like, dude, why are you teaming with Roman? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I'm very interested.
Maybe they join. Because it could be.
Yes, that's Sami Zayn will absolutely be part of this. He is the honorarius.
Yeah.
We know this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of No Nights Off. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. And go check out the social media links, ours. All right, where we post nonsense stuff. Sara posts about the Patriots. I just tweet. I just tweet and hope someone will like it. So go and do me a favor and do that. And then in the meantime, go watch the shit. We got Dynamite on right now. Go catch the last end of it. And that's all we got. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try.